Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Alizee Yeezy show. I'm your host, Alizee Yeezy, and today I'm joined by Dylan from TikTok. How you doing?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm all good. I'm all good. People who watch the video version are going to notice that I'm in kind of like a weird room with boxes everywhere. I'm in the middle of moving. It's a whole drama at the moment. I'll talk about it some other time. Right. So, when did you start TikTok, first of all?
Um, I don't know, probably like 2018, but like it didn't start doing anything until probably 2021. I used to start just like making first drops and that. So
Did you actually? What were
yeah,
they like? What do you mean?
I put an old man filter on, and then it, I think it were Back in Black that played, and then like I did a little transition. It was me just being sexy in a leather jacket.
That's so funny. It's like 2018 because I only started like going on TikTok, I think a year or so ago, and it started popping off for you in like 2021. You said.
Yeah, I might have made these dates up to be honest, but
Oh, because you amassed a really big following. You're at what, like almost 900K on TikTok? That's really impressive.
yeah, I don't know how it happened, but like I don't know. I think I just started posting what I wanted, like comedy wise, um, and then noticed what people liked and stuff. So I just carried it on, and it seemed that they liked me shouting at them. So I thought I'd carry on doing that.
I'm definitely going to pick your brain about this type of thing because, like, I've tried to do a little bit of TikTok, but like personally, I can't stay motivated enough to do it because, like, I like to wear a lot of put on a bunch of makeup when I'm filming anything, and most of the time I'm like greasy hair and stuff. So, like, when I want to do a TikTok, I never look like the part. How do you stay motivated to do? Because you do TikTok quite a lot.
I just think of an idea. I'll be scrolling through TikTok, and then if I see a video and I think, oh, I'm gonna pick on you, then I'll just record. Don't matter what I look like.
Because your for you page, what's your for you page like when you're scrolling through TikTok? What comes up?
Bit of everything really. Off a lot of my videos now, people tag me, and so luckily I don't. My for you page sorted it sent out a bit. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you. Often it's like edits are like our flag means death because that's all I've been watching.
Have you seen that bloke? What's his name? Is it Daniel something? I think he's Australian, and his all of his TikTok is just like him reacting to cringe with just a face at the end. You know that bloke, and he's a bit like he doesn't say anything. I've never heard him speak a word on his TikTok, but he's got like millions
Yeah,
of followers. It's just reacting to cringe.
yeah, it's baffling, isn't it? But I think it's just because he's built that much following. Like I can make a video now where I just look at the camera, I don't say anything, and it gets likes and stuff, and I think, well, it's sorted.
The kind of I guess atmosphere of TikTok is baffling because like my for you is either people doing makeup like this weird what's it called? It's like this honey pot thing for your eyebrows. I'm just getting loads of that recently where like people like they like spike their eyebrows up with this like wax and it stays in place. That's all I'm getting at the moment. Or
Um,
it's cringe content.
well, it's what you like, isn't it?
It's so strange to me in that way though because I like it, right? Do you think TikTok is like more of a negative or positive place though?
It depends what you look at, really, doesn't it? You can get negative and positive from anything, can't you? But I don't know. It changes, to be honest. Like a lot of the time, I can get like hate comments, and it'll just be hate comments for like a month, and then next minute it all flips, and I just get positive comments. I think it's TikTok picking on me, to be honest. But
What's that like then when you're just getting like hate comments solid for a month? Because I can't really relate to that because like obviously I do YouTube and I guess I've been watching YouTube for over a decade and I have noticed that YouTube has become people might disagree with me, but I personally think YouTube has become a bit of a nicer, more positive place. Like generally comments aren't really nasty or bullying anymore. It was different a decade ago, but it's changed.
yeah,
And when I go on TikTok, sometimes like there are some people's comment sections and I look through them and it's just constant hate. And it reminds me a bit of this website. Like I'm a decade older than you, so like, but this website called 4chan, right? There was this
yeah,
B board on 4chan where people would just be like vile all the time. And that's kind of like what TikTok reminds me of sometimes.
yeah. It can be vile. Like I hate TikTok as an app, which is like silly, and it seems I'm on it all the time. But um, yeah, but I'm slowly gonna start going towards YouTube, I think. Because TikTok, like I said, it does me nothing. I'm fed up with it.
No, I understand completely what you mean. So, like, how do you deal with like still putting up TikToks when you are getting hate for like a month solid or whatever?
Uh, well, if I've got content to make, then I'll just power through it. Like a lot, it hurt a lot more when it first started, but then after a bit, they were just all saying the same stuff, and I just thought, well, be a bit creative, you know. And I can't really. I'd be a bit of a hypocrite if I like took it straight to art because I'm a knob online anyway, aren't I? So
That's kind of how I feel because, like, my main channel content, it does feel like I'm just being a knob all of the time. So, if I was to get like knobbish behavior back, I can't really take it to heart because that's
yeah,
like the person that I've put online and stuff. But are you 19? How old are you?
19, yeah.
Yeah, you're 19. See, like when I was 19, I don't think I could have dealt with getting hate or but like now I'm older, so it's like whatever, it don't matter. You don't meet these people, it like kind of doesn't really exist. Like just turn your computer off. But if I was 19, I wouldn't be able to deal with that. Do you think it's given you a thicker skin then at like a young age?
Yeah, definitely. I think growing like being in school gave me thicker skin to be honest, but
What was
uh,
that like then? What was school like?
oh, that was tragic. But I put it on my sen. Like I was one of them like anime kids, and like I'd be shouting Queen songs all the time. Like, you know what? I deserve to get bullied. You know, I'm surprised they didn't do it more. To be honest,
did you go to college?
for a bit, and then I left. But I don't think they realised that I left. I think they thought I was someone else because they still sent me a merit through post. So I was like, oh, right then.
That's classic. So like what is TikTok the main thing you do?
Yeah. Um, I got a cameo on, like I do that now and again. Get people to pay me to say happy birthday. It's great.
Do you get a lot of offers through Cameo?
I get odd ones now and again. When I first put it up, I did,
Hmm.
and then I took it down because I was like, I can't be bothered. But people are still finding it, so I do them when they find it because I feel like they put the effort in. So
I feel like that's how I'd be if I had a Cameo. I wouldn't be asked to do it. I'm just like I had a Patreon and then I had to delete it because I wasn't putting anything on there. It's just like I'm full of broken promises. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what I do all the time. I've said I don't know how many times I'll start like a baking video or like I'll do reading lives. But that live reading that went out the window because I started doing them and realised I can't read, so I just thought that off.
It's hard though, isn't it? Like when you want to try to do different forms of content and then maybe you just like can't keep up because like life gets in the way, because I'm always like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but my main channel takes up way too much of my time for me to like I'm trying to redo my A levels at the moment and it's
Yeah,
fucking impossible. It's impossible to be doing redoing my A levels, trying to move and also like try to keep my main channel afloat.
yeah. Well, you got to like take time for your son, aren't you? Like, I know that it's hard and stuff, but you just got to. I'm trying to give you advice. I'm shit at advice, so
No, that's okay. Don't worry. You're not my therapist. I should give my therapist a call. How has TikTok has it changed your life? Have you noticed in any way? Because almost 900K followers. That's very substantial. Do you ever like meet followers in public or anything?
yeah. Though I know when people recognise me because they'll look at me, but because of the content I make, I don't know if they're gonna like look at me and want to batter me, or if they just want to talk to me. So I kind of like just ignore them and wait for them to come up to me. There were one time like in bus station, and I went into the shop, and this group of lads, like teenage lads, went round and like shouted in my face, and went, "That's Dylan," and I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get battered." But then I like walked out because like I didn't acknowledge, like I tried to pretend I didn't see them, and then they got on the same bus as me, and they were like, "Oh, I love your TikToks," and I was like, "Oh, cheers."
Well, that's quite in your face, isn't it? Being like, "That's Dylan. There's Dylan. Like, there you are." I wouldn't like that either. I'd square up immediately.
Yeah, I'm an awkward person anyway, so even when they do come up to me and they're nice, it's really awkward.
See, I don't mind it if people come up, but I'd rather like people just actually come up because I've been in situations where it's like someone's kind of clocked me and it's like I know that you're like you've recognized me.
Yeah,
And I saw once I think I was on a train and I could see like someone was kind of like nudging their friend and then they were showing their friend something on their phone and I saw that it was one of my videos and I was just like, just say hello or just don't do that because it is kind of weird. Like I'll talk too much. I'll talk to anyone, but just don't be like odd about
some lass saw me on bus. It's all on bus to be fair. It's
it.
always always when I'm coming back from gym. Not when I'm going to the gym. It's when I'm coming back and I stink. Right. They always recognise me, and then they're like, she was looking at me and she got her phone up and she went, "Is that you?" And I just panicked. I said, "No," and she went, "Yeah, it is." So I was like, "Oh, yes, it is."
That oh my god, that reminds me of like, oh no, this right. I'm gonna air myself out. This is really fucking embarrassing. One time I was on the tube in London, and there was, I'm not gonna say who, but there was a famous comedian on the tube, and like, but he had his hat on and stuff, and I recognised him. I was about, to be fair, about 21, right? And I recognised him, and I was like, oh, it's that comedian, but I couldn't remember his name. So I was like, hello, what's your name? And he was like, oh, my name's XYZ. And I was like, yeah. Like, I've seen you on telly. And then, I don't know, it was just like a really embarrassing and like awkward. It was just, I was just being like really weird. I was being like, oh, do you want to go for a drink? And I didn't mean in like a, hey, do you want to go for a drink? I meant in like a networking kind of comedian, like social climbing kind of way. And he was like, no, I'm actually off to work. I'm off doing a gig. And I was like, oh, okay, then fair enough. And then I bumped into him a year later and he recognized me, but he didn't know where from. And then we chatted like on Twitter and stuff. And I lied to him and said we met on a night out because I was too like mortified to say we met on the tube and I was being a proper wanker. Like I shouldn't even put this out here, like just in case, because I've tried to get him to come on the podcast before, so I shouldn't even like be saying this publicly, but it's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about TikTok. I want to go more into it, right? Because there's like a mentality behind it. Because we were just talking about hate comments and stuff, and there is an account in particular who does what I eat in a day content. She just shares what she buys, what she eat, that kind of thing. Every single comment section on all of her videos, because they come up regularly on my For You, are all negative. Like,
Yeah.
to the point where it's, huh?
I think I know who you're on about.
Becky Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, it baffles, because it's just bullying, right? And it baffles me, but my kind of standpoint is like, if that were me getting that for anything I did, like, she cannot do anything. If she put up a video being like, oh, like, let's try this new like lipstick or whatever, she would just get hate. I don't understand how people can power through that and still continue to put stuff up, because like you say you get hate, you get a lot of love too, because like your videos are really funny. And your comment sections, when I've seen them, are like generally positive. I don't understand how like people can power through just like so many mountains of like so much hate.
Yeah. I think it depends on what they pick on though. You have to think like I will listening to get me through it. I was listening to like self-help podcasts while I went on my little walks.
Really?
Yeah, and like one guy, he was like, the only reason that these hate comments can like, hurt you is if you actually believe what they're saying. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah. So then I started like just working on myself a bit through the hate comments, and actually in a way they like helped me to like be more confident in myself, because I thought, well, am I actually bothered, or am I just annoyed that they felt the need to say it? It is a lot of the time, actually. It's like, it's less of what they've said and more just like, why have you sat down and said that?
Do you find like, do you respond to a lot of the hate comments, or do you ignore them?
Oh, I respond all the time. I'm a bit of like a bastard for it. I like to think like anyone else asks me for like, oh, I forgot word, but they'll message me and they're like, oh, can you help me with this? Like, people, how do you deal with hate comments? And I was like, oh, just ignore them. But I'm a hypocrite because I don't ignore them. But I've found that if I reply more, it gets me more interaction. So that's my
No, I've noticed that on TikTok, like, because I see a lot of that. People get a hate comment and then they'll make a whole video, and then that video will get like a lot of reaction and traction from it. I used to, like, years ago when I first started doing YouTube, like 5 years ago, I used to respond to like just hate comments or comments in general, and I was a proper little knobhead. And I feel like maybe it's different with YouTube, because like you say, on TikTok you can get traction, especially if like the clapback or the reaction is quite good. On YouTube, I feel like if you respond to hate comments by being a bit shitty back, people expect you to be the bigger person.
Yeah.
Because I used to, this is such like a rogue example to use, but only in this context. I used to think like similar about Jeffree Star, because Jeffree Star on his Twitter will clap back at anyone. And I used to be like, you have to be the bigger person, blah, blah, blah. And Jeffree Star's done a lot of fucked up stuff. but I do understand like that like want to react when you see someone just saying something that's like so picky.
Yeah, and if they get you on bad day, that's it, innit? Like,
Yeah, because for me, my videos are like really long on my main channel. I don't know if you've seen, but I've done like some really like they're all like 2 hours long. They're ridiculous, you know. So if I get a comment where they've picked on like a single sentence where maybe I've just not worded something or communicated what I'm trying to say properly, but I
yeah,
want to react to that and just be like, really? So one thing out of like 2 hours, like you had to, you know?
it's mad. People are just bored, aren't they? They're just
Right. When I was doing a bit of research for this episode, I have to ask, is this I don't know if this is true. Are you a trained sex therapist?
oh no. I thought it was just to put sex therapist in my Instagram. So, but amount of people that I've had message me and they're like asking me like for advice, and I'm like, I'm not actually a sex therapist. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's jokes. That's so funny. It was like on an actual website, and I was like, no way. Nah,
On
this
a
can't be true.
website,
I think it was I think it was was it famous birthdays or something where they give like a little bio and stuff and they're like, Dylan is a sex trained sex therapist. I was like, I don't think they are.
living my Gene Milburn life.
So what do you think about when it comes to TikTok about like the culture of cringe? Because I noticed like you did a stitch to this woman and she's appeared on my for you page a lot recently and I've actually had to block her account. It's this woman, what's she doing? She's a millennial, she's got like some cream cheese or something, and she's
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I
just
mean?
like that.
I can't deal with that. Like
No, because I feel like if I got bullied a little bit less, I'd have been in her. That would have been the content I made.
so do
I
you
can't,
think that we should bully people more?
yeah,
But like there is an entire I don't know if you there's a guy on YouTube called Critical, Charlie Moist Penguins. Um he does a lot of like he's very popular on YouTube and he does a lot of like reacting to cringe kind of content. And he spoke about like some of the cringe content that's on TikTok. So, you know, like well, he didn't mention the lady doing the thing, but there was the one about like the love surge people. Do you remember that?
yeah.
What do you think about that? The love surge people? Because I do think it's grim, but it was harmless. But then she did a follow up video where she was upset that people had been threatening, well, death on this woman.
Like at first, I thought that they were just pretending. I thought they were like being cringe on purpose, and like I thought fair enough. But then I saw that follow up video, and like my heart broke a bit because like I know that it's a bit hard. Like if you're uploading that, then obviously you're gonna get them comments. Like she must have known like from her other content what comments she were gonna get from it. But the fact that she's getting death threats and stuff, that I think it's fucking disgusting. Like just from having a little cuddle online, it's mad.
Yeah, see, and that's what I mean about like TikTok versus YouTube. Because maybe I'm just a bit lucky and I don't really see that anymore. But I don't think maybe because like the terms of conditions or whatever, I don't think well, you can't threaten. They have like really strict filters on YouTube. Um,
Yeah,
so you can't like threaten death threats or threaten because this lady said that she was even being threatened with sexual assault basically and domestic violence and stuff, you know, which is mad.
it's mad that TikTok even lets comments like that go. Like I've tried to comment, like I've called someone a melt before just because they annoyed, and it won't go through, or a flannel. But then I've had some of the most vile comments ever, and because they've worded it in a way that it doesn't trigger a certain word, they've got away with it, and it's like the most vile thing anyone could have ever said.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely something that TikTok needs to look into and monitor a lot more because you just can't be doing that.
Yeah.
So your TikTok success, how did it come about? Like do you remember was there a kind of video that set it off?
Uh, yeah. Like I've had a lot of accounts because they keep getting banned. Like back when TikTok thought that they were like monetizing stuff. And I think it were I can't remember exactly what I'd said, but it were I don't know. I made up like weird stories and stuff. I was really into Noel Fielding, so I like took a lot from him. and I think it was like a little skit of me beating up a shark for some reason. But there was a reason I was beating up a shark. I can't remember why, but I won. So
You like Noel Fielding then?
yeah, I fucking love him.
I love Noel Fielding. Do you like the Mighty Boosh?
Yeah, you lent up against my box set of Mighty Boosh now.
Ah man, I'm so jealous of anyone that got to see the Mighty Boosh live because I got the DVDs and it looked like the funniest fucking show. People dressed up as old Greg. I loved that kind of that era of like. But did you like Noel Fielding's luxury comedy? What did you think of that?
I didn't like it as much as Mighty Boosh, but I couldn't. I don't think I've actually watched it fully. Like, not that I dislike it. It's just it didn't have the same vibe for me as Mighty Boosh did.
Yeah, because I think like Noel Fielding kind of needed Barrett to be the kind of like straight man to his like weird persona. I was so in love with Vince Noir when I was a teenager. Like I cut my hair really short to try and look like Noel Fielding, which is a bit tragic looking back now.
That's why I've got this jumper on. Actually, like it's the only reason I bought it because I saw Noel Fielding in one similar. So I was like, I'm having that.
Do you watch Bake Off with Nolan? Because I
Yeah,
don't, but
reason I watch it.
what about TV shows? Do you like what about the IT crowd?
I haven't fully watched that. Like, I like the little clips I see, but I haven't fully like sat down and watched it. I like Peep Show.
Yes, Peep Show is so good. I only just got into it though, because when I was younger, like I couldn't hack it. I didn't find it funny. It's only recently that I think it's brilliant what it
Yeah,
is.
I did that. I tried to watch it a while back, and then like I just couldn't get into it. And then I watched it again, and I was like, as if I couldn't get into it. It's fucking great.
Now I just get loads of on my TikTok. I get also loads of Peep Show edits where it's like Mark Corrigan saying something, and then it's like just weird flashes and him doing that weird dance and stuff. That's all I get like on my TikTok. It's either cringe or Peep Show. So how has like doing TikTok affected your day-to-day life? Where do you see yourself going with it? Do you see yourself going with it in 5 years time? Like have any opportunities up from it?
Yeah, I see myself hopefully progressing into it. Like I said, I'm gonna start slowly going into YouTube, and hopefully that'll start going somewhere. But I haven't really had loads like offers. I had someone send me some hoodies over there. I was buzzing with that, and I thanked him in video, like in caption, and I got the fucking name wrong. I thanked the girlfriend instead. So, so like actually my name's Charlie. I was like shit. So I'm just like I think I need to figure out how to do things properly, like before I start getting anywhere with it. I'm just a bit all over the place. I ain't got a clue what I'm doing.
Really? Is it just you
Yeah.
trying to do this stuff then? Do you have any help or any peers that you can? Because I'm always bothering like YouTubers who are bigger than me. I'm always like meshing them, bothering them, being like, "What shall I do?"
No, I'm too shy to like message anyone being like, "Oh, do you want to do this?" Like, I'd rather just if they come up to me and they're like, "Do you want to do this?" like you did, then I'd be like, "Yeah." But I've been shitting it all day just being on phone call to you. So
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm a massive idiot. Like it's absolutely fine. You don't have to worry about talking to me. I'm the one that should be worried because like I've got a motor mouth and I just said, like, do you ever get that? You must get that thing. It's a ubiquitous human experience where like you're in bed and it's 2 a.m. and you're like, why the fuck did I say that earlier?
yeah,
But it's like a normal conversation, you know, like, oh no, why did I say hello to that cashier? How embarrassing. They're gonna be thinking of that all day now. Do you know what I mean?
all the time. I can't even like order a bus ticket on bus. I have to do it online, just like so I don't have to talk to them. It costs more online to just ask them. So
That's definitely like a no, I don't want to say that's not a newer generation thing because like my generation, we would text when we were outside someone's house. We wouldn't knock. We
yeah,
just text to be like, I'm here now, you know?
yeah. But you might as well like, what's point in knocking when you can just ring them up or something?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to talk to someone's parents. It's
Yeah,
embarrassing. That's quite a British thing, you know, it's like to be really just embarrassed by existing.
yeah. Like I can't remember who I was talking to, but they were like British people compared to like American. It was my dad. I was talking like about job interviews and stuff, and I'm like, I can't sell me sending these interviews because I'm just like when they say tell me a bit about it, so I'm like, I don't know. And then we got on to talking about like Americans and stuff. I was like, well, Americans seem really like outgoing all the time, no matter who they are. And then like British people, they just
What you were just saying about job interviews, and when they ask like, tell me a bit about yourself. For me, because I have ADHD, whenever someone like asks me a direct question, my brain blue screens. Like someone could say, oh, what's your favorite band, what music are you into? And I'll be like, I've never heard of music in my life, what are you talking about? I've never listened to what when like the answer is My Chemical Romance, obviously. That's my favorite. That is my audience would know that is my favorite band of all time. But if anyone asks me, it's like, huh? So it
yeah.
is hard to sell yourself in like interviews.
You are.
It is hard to like sell yourself in interviews. I had a really bad time doing that as well. Like I can't get a normal job after doing this.
Yeah, like that's another thing that's like affected it. Like I haven't been able to get like I don't think people in the interviews know who I am, but like I don't know, just I feel like it is affecting it a bit because I think if I do go to an interview and they like do a bit of research on me and they find out who I am, I think that just knocks it off for them.
Also, have you been going to job interviews and stuff? Are you trying to do stuff alongside TikTok?
Yeah, like for a bit because until my TikTok recently started, like getting a bit bigger, like Apex got in touch with me and like offered to be like my managers and stuff. I've been looking for a job. Like I haven't been able to have one yet since leaving college. I've just been like doing little jobs here and there for people.
Mm.
But I think like, I don't think it's completely because of TikTok and stuff. I think it's just me not being knowing how to be in an interview. To be honest.
Well, it is hard because you have to sell yourself. You have to condense your entire being down to like a 10-minute chat with someone. Like I used to have a lot of difficulty with it, especially like when I was younger, because I never went to university. I always say when I was younger as though I'm like well old, but we know when I was in my 20s, I didn't go to university and I was living in London. And to try to get a job that wasn't in the hospitality industry was next to impossible. Even if you sold yourself really well in interviews, if you don't have a degree, the next person does. But now they want people who have degrees and also job experience. So it just seems like the climate is
Yeah,
becoming nearly fucking impossible for
yeah, that's
the. Hmm?
uh, they all want like work experience, but how do you get work experience without having a job?
Yeah, so like I really feel for the younger generation because it is impossible. I feel like you guys have a better standard of what you want ultimately. I saw earlier that someone who had just graduated, it was a news item, they were complaining on TikTok. They were really upset that they had a 9 to 5 job now and they didn't know how to balance work and life because you get back at like from your 9 to 5 at like 6 or 7, you're tired, you can't see friends, you can't do anything. And that's what it's like. And I think it's great that the younger gen want more out of their fucking lives
Yeah,
rather than just putting up with it like me and like the boomers have done.
yeah,
It's just it's hard, especially in England with the cost of living crisis and everything going on. It's a hard time to. So like I see more people are going to turn to social media and get more jobs out of social media. And now,
yeah,
like 20 years ago, you didn't have management companies who managed influencers or social media stars. That weren't a thing. And so now like there's a whole new job market that's opened. So I do think like if you went to an interview and they did find your TikToks, so what? Like they shouldn't judge you upon that. They should see that you've got a massive following and be like, oh, fair enough.
yeah.
I'd be
Well, that
impressed.
I thought like if I go like in this little cafe thing, I'll just tell them I'll get on TikTok. Everyone come here. They'll get loads. They'll get loads of like.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. I will say, what like a job to get into if you want to get better at like, speaking to members of the public or speaking to people, hospitality, like working in a pub,
yeah.
that sorts you
I
right out.
work in a pub. Do you know like bar work? Like even if
Mm,
just owning your own pub, like that's quite like a big dream.
really?
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Have you thought what you'd call your pub if you had one?
Oh no, I'd have to get someone else to name it.
I'm bad at naming things too. Don't worry. That's why this is called the Alizee Yeezy Show, which is entirely derivative of. Shouldn't even say his name really. It was entirely derivative of the Russell Brand show, but now I do denounce Russell Brand, if anyone wonders.
Yeah, I noticed like when I was like setting up what you could see behind me. I had a picture of him with no fielding on the back of my wall. I'm like, shit, but take that down.
It sucks, doesn't it? That like so many of these people in the mainstream, you don't really know who you can trust. You don't really know, like, oh, who can I like who's not going to get in trouble in like a year or so's time? What's going to come out about this person? It's like, it's a really weird time to like just, you have to be really careful about who you publicly support.
It's like depressing that Russell Brand of all people's come out like that, because like I knew that he had a past. Like obviously, you're open about his past and stuff. And I thought, like, I would have never thought that he'd have done what he's done or what's come out. But I thought he was getting a lot better, you know, with his drug addiction and his sex addiction and stuff. Like, I seen him on YouTube, he's doing like his little ice baths and stuff. And I thought, oh, he's like, I started listening to him like for a bit, and then all this came out, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it is bad. Like, I was a massive fan of his for a very long time, like from the ages of like 14 until maybe last year. I don't know. I've spoken about this a little bit. I just done a podcast, but it's not out yet, with someone called Andrew Gold, and he's like he's like a documentary maker, ex BBC journo. And we went into detail about this, but like, I've got friends who work in the comedy circuit, and I'd heard some not great things. So I actually did have more time than a lot of other people to kind of be like, okay, reflect upon it and then detach away, like put my bias, my opinions aside, you know, because if people I trust are saying certain things about this person, you know, I'm going to listen to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Comedy circuit's kind of full of it though. Do you want to get into comedy?
Yeah, I'd love to get into comedy. A lot of my comments are like saying, "Oh, you should do stand up," but I think me as a person, I'd hate it, but the idea of it, I love it. I think like comedy acting, I'd be all right at, but I can't act, so maybe not.
No, I know exactly what you mean, because like, yeah, I love comedy, I love stand up. I've done a bit of stand up and stuff, and like it goes much better than you think it will. You just have to be a bit confident. But then like, what I find hard, I did one gig once and it went really, really, really well. And so I was like hyped. It was like a high. And then a few days later, I started basically gaslighting myself, and I was like, "Oh, it weren't that good. No, don't bother, don't continue." And I didn't. I just like started doing YouTube and stuff. But comedy acting, I know exactly what you mean, because I don't think you need to be good at acting to be able to do comedy acting. Because I think loads of comedians go into it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like a lot of the films and stuff I watch, like the acting's crap, but because it's funny, you sit and watch them, don't you?
Exactly. Like because I think the dream would be to be on a comedy TV show. I guess like, well, for me, like IT Crowd or like The American Office, or you know, like something like that. Because I don't think like Ricky Gervais, did he learn to act? I don't know. I don't think he did, but then he went into the UK Office. Do you like the UK Office?
I couldn't get through it as well as I did the American one. Yeah, I know a lot of like American, when they do like a reboot of a UK show, it's like really crap. But US Office is a million times better in my opinion.
Oh my god, we're in complete agreement about that, because like have you heard of him? There's a podcaster and YouTuber called Jackmate. He does Jackmate's Happy Hour.
Yeah.
Like it's such a bone of contention for me that he loves the UK Office, but he's never seen the US Office. Like I've texted him, been like, fucking watch the US, like watch it properly, watch it after like season 1, where they were still trying to copy the format of the UK Office, because it's so much better.
Yeah. Have you watched Shameless?
No, I've only ever seen clips of it on TV, but I did try to watch the UK Shameless, but it was like really old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes if you're watching something and it's old, like it just ruins quality, or it just ruins it, doesn't it?
Well, it's just a bit like. So do you like Shameless then? I take it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you prefer US one or UK one, but you never seen it, so
It just seemed a bit like, you know, when there's that kind of UK brand of like depressing. You know, like things are just shit. I guess Peep Show's like that though, because like Peep Show is, because people say about the UK Office, oh, but it's more realistic, and it's like, no, Peep Show's realistic. These guys, like they end up where they started. They've not improved their lives in any way. Like it's kind of, without the comedy, it's depressing. It's two guys like just fucking their lives up. But with the comedy, it's really funny. I kind of feel like Shameless UK, I watched the first episode and I was a bit like, yeah, this is like depressing Britain. You know what I mean? I do want to give it a proper go though.
Well, I thought like I watched the UK one and then I like didn't want to watch the US one because I thought it's going to be shit.
Mm.
Start off with it is like because you can tell they're really trying to copy it UK like word for word, and then eventually they start going in their own storyline. So that's where it made it better.
Have you seen the US In-Betweeners?
Yeah, that is tragic.
It's so, oh my god, no, it's so embarrassing. It's so bad.
They make Jay like a nonce in it, like over the top nonce.
Did they?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched Memulus react to it, and that's where I watched it. And they made him like out to be a proper nonce. But then I watched the UK one, and I can't tell if like he was a nonce in that or not.
No, Jay in the UK one, he's just a loser. He's just that person that's like, oh yeah, I've shagged 10 girls, and of course it's not true. Like we all
Yeah,
knew someone a bit like that in secondary school, do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But I never liked the In-Betweeners when it was on when I was a teenager. I hated it because it was too awkward. Again, it's only recently. It's like things that were too awkward I couldn't watch when I was younger. I don't know why, but now I'm like more at ease with like feeling cringed out. Do you know what I mean?
No, I loved In Between Us growing up. I related to it loads.
I guess I couldn't relate to it. I was too much of a Mighty Boosh girl. I
Yeah,
was too much of like I was basically just like a little stoner kid. Do you know what I mean? Just watching
yeah.
fucking Mighty Boosh and get stoned. Like,
Oh, you were cool then. Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think so. Kind of gross.
it cool to me.
Thank you. That's very kind. It's weird actually. Like when I bump into college friends and they'll say like, "Oh, we always thought that you were like kind of aloof but in a cool way," and I was like, "No, I was just awkward." I was always doing my own thing and I was always hide. I didn't want to talk to anyone. That's not cool, you know?
Mysterious.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go for now, more enigmatic. Actually, that's something to ask because like I find that with my YouTube and my podcast and stuff, this is me, this is who I am. But there's a barrier. Like I don't share private details because I keep my private life really, really private. Like you won't see making what my boyfriend like that kind of like relationship video. You won't see me doing that kind of stuff. Do you keep your private life quite private or no?
Yeah, I tend to. Like, I might overshare a bit, like if I'm on live, but not like over the top oversharing. But a lot of my videos, it's not really about me. It's just stitching other people. So yeah,
Yeah, I think we're quite similar in that regard, actually, because all my content is just about other people doing shit things or like shit books or Colleen Hoover's done this or whatever. Because I find like the people, and it's mainly influencers who do overshare, who like show what they've bought in their living room and they do relationship videos and oh look they're pregnant so then like they do pregnancy videos. I really feel like they have maybe a bit of a harder time with dealing with like hate comments because maybe like when you overshare you're giving people ammunition for it to get personal, but if you don't, what can people say? Like the most someone could say about me is I'm ugly or they don't like my accent. Who cares? You know what I mean?
yeah, pretty much what they say about me. To be fair,
I like your accent. I think it's well nice.
thank you. A lot of people think I'm faking it. So
No, wait. Where like you don't have to tell me exactly, but whereabouts like up north is it?
uh, Rotherham, like Sheffield area.
Oh, it's my mum's from Lancashire, so she gets
Yeah,
a bit like go to shops. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But I went up north not too long ago, like for a cousin's engagement party, and everyone is so much nicer.
yeah,
Like people just say hello to you. It's very weird. It's disconcerting.
yeah. I haven't been up south like ever, so I don't think I'd survive to be honest.
Oh my god, you definitely got to go to London then, because it's just London's such a shit place. It's such like it's the capital of England. It's so shit. Like
Yeah,
go to London, you'll see just like everyone is so rude, and it's weird, right? Because I lived there for a few years, and it makes you like a meaner, ruder person when you're there. Like I saw an article in the Metro once where someone had like got the self-awareness to realize they'd become like a nastier person for living in London, and they had this realization when they were on the tube and it was very busy, and a lady was trying to put her pram on the tube with her baby, and the person was getting annoyed and like tutting and being like, oh hurry up, and then she realized afterwards like hang on, I was doing that to a lady with her baby. Like this place has
Yeah,
turned me into an arsehole. It's funny that like the north south divide in that way, you know what I mean?
yeah. I think it's because in North, like South's like a big city and stuff. In it, North, you don't have to really bump into anyone, so they're not there to annoy you.
Oh, that sounds perfect then. Oh, I'd like to go up north more often then. Can't stand people.
Yeah, they're annoying, aren't they?
They are. They're right annoying. That's what you would say.
Yeah,
So like you've not been getting many opportunities recently. Is that right? Like from TikTok?
yeah, but it's still like early days, really.
Hmm.
I think a lot of them I might have like just ignored because I thought it's a scam. So, just thought, no. um, but yeah, I'm not massively bothered. I think they'll come to me if they want to come to me.
Hmm. Because
Um,
you definitely should jump onto that because I think TikTok's one of the best places to blow up quickly.
yeah,
Because I've noticed you can put up like I've had it happen to me. You put up some random videos and then like they get 100,000 views, whatever, and it's like, oh, that's really good. It was just like a random video, and obviously my follower on TikTok's quite small. Um, but I've seen personally like these what I eat in a day accounts. I'm so obsessed with them. There's this group of people, like this friend group from Wales, and they do what I eat in a day content. And one of them's got like 500,000 followers, and they're now going on brand trips like abroad to Tenerife and
yeah.
stuff. And I'm like, huh? No one's ever invited me on anything ever.
I do look at people. Do you know when they get like offers like that, and I like, why aren't I getting offers like that? But then I look and I think it's because I'm not reaching out. But then I think I'd rather not.
Social media is a weird game like that. Do you find that TikTok is a bit cliquey? Because I find that YouTube is very cliquey. Like there's cliques on YouTube and it's a bit, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what cliquey means. I'm not gonna lie.
You know when like okay, so you know at school, like secondary school, where there are cliques, like you'll get the groups that only hang out with like certain people. So I guess for a stereotypical example, in America, you get the cheerleaders and then the jocks and then maybe the
Oh,
goths and the nerds, like cliques.
yeah.
Do you find
Uh,
like TikTok has them?
yeah, in a way, yeah. Like people staying like in their own groups, kind of thing.
Yeah, and also just like I'm trying to think right now, how much do I say? How much is going to get me in trouble? Like what's going to reflect back to me? Um YouTube can be like I don't really talk to anyone. Like there's very few people that I talk to and fewer people that I trust because YouTube can be a very backstabbing place.
Yeah,
I'll just say that. Like there's a lot of drama. People love drama. People love doing videos at each other. There is a lot of like two-facedness and backstabbing and stuff like that that goes on. Um, have you seen anything like that with TikTok or nah?
no, not really. I try to keep my sense to myself. So all drama and stuff. It's just I'm not in loop of it.
It's better to like view the drama from afar rather than being the
Yeah,
center of it, innit?
yeah. Just like judge them from like a distance.
That was my entire channel for like 2021. Just like judge it. Oh, Shane Dawson's done something. Quick, make a video.
Yeah,
So going back to the comedy again briefly. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. Like I'm really displaced from my move. It's really like just fucking everything up. Go back to the comedy quickly. You said you'd like to try stand up.
yeah. But I think I'd like. I don't know what I'd do for it. I think it'd just be a bit of a mess. But I'd like to try it, and I like to think that I'd be able to try it. But
I think so because like you are funny. From what I've seen, I think you're very naturally funny. Like it does come natural to you. Have you considered maybe like in your area or like in a city near you, is there any comedy classes? You know, you can do like these courses of like 10 weeks, then you learn how to put together a set for a 5 minute night.
yeah, I didn't even know that were a thing. So I'll have a look at that in a bit.
Oh, definitely do. I've done stand-up comedy classes before. And you meet like-minded people. Some people are just there to like build their confidence, but some people really want to get into it. And then you can like forge bonds with people that last years. Like I know this actor and I made a mockumentary about Paul Breach. I don't know if you've seen it, like not many people have. And he like this actor who plays this bin man, he also does stand up and he's been on TV and stuff. But I met him at stand up comedy class like 4 or so years ago. and we
Yeah,
stayed friends. We stayed friends from there, and we've become like kind of business friends as well because it's like, oh, I have a comedy idea I want to build upon. There's a person I can go to who will be up for doing it. You know.
yeah. That'd help me a lot actually, because like I've got a lot of ideas, but I don't. I can't talk. I don't think my friends would be really into doing it. Like I've offered it to them, and like I've got like one friend who's a bit iffy, but he said he might. But I think yeah, if I go to like one of them comedy course things, like you said, there's like-minded people there, so we might be able to like mix ideas together and actually start doing stuff.
100% do it, and you can probably like there's lots of companies who do stuff online. Like online classes are a lot more popular post pandemic. So
Yeah,
yeah, you should definitely do it. It's really helpful, and it's just nice to be around people who have like similar, maybe not mindsets or comedy styles, but want to be on a similar path to
yeah,
yourself, and like definitely helps develop it. 100% do it because like you could. I go to a lot of like when I'm about London, I go to a lot of comedy nights in London, and like the number one thing that stops people is confidence, you know, because like realistically people can go on a stage and say anything and they'll get a laugh because like people will laugh at anything. If you went on stage and just said tits, people would laugh. It's like the bar is pretty low. I've only ever seen people bomb twice, and I feel like, not to be rude or mean, but I feel like you have to kind of really try hard to
yeah,
bomb. Like bombing happens to any comedian and it's inevitable. But I was at this comedy night and this guy came on stage and he was talking about religion and Christianity and just how stupid religion and Christianity is. It was very like George Carlin, except not funny. It was just this man
yeah.
on stage ranting for 10 minutes. He was getting progressively redder in the face and no one was laughing. And it's because like there were no jokes. It was literally just him being like, this is how stupid Christians are. And it was kind of like I'm with you, but where's the punchline, mate? You know?
Like they weren't even like a bit of character to just make it a bit.
No. No. He had some feelings about religion that he wanted to get out there, and he thought that a comedy night was the best place for it.
Well, maybe he feels a bit better getting it out.
I don't know. He felt like he did not look happy by the end of it because it was kind of mortifying. But that's like the only time I've really seen someone like proper bomb. You know what I mean? So you should just do it.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. I didn't like I said I didn't even know it was a thing.
I love like telling anyone but myself to do stand up. I'm always like, yeah, everyone should do stand up. It's the one thing. Like, no, I'm not getting on a stage. I don't want to talk to people. People, I hate people. I don't want to go to a room and make them laugh.
Yeah,
Can we talk a little bit about your gender fluidity?
yeah, can do.
So, what does it mean to you? I guess.
I don't know. It was just I grew up thinking that I was just a trans guy, and I was strictly just masculine. All like as soon as I came out, it were just masculine clothes. I wouldn't touch anything feminine. And then like a couple years back, like when I started liking no fielding really, like, and I saw all these like fancy outfits and stuff, and I thought, oh, that like that's quite cool. So I started like
Mm.
dressing up like that. Um, and then I started falling more into makeup, and I thought, actually, did I just like think I was just this like masculine person because I wanted to prove to people that like I weren't lying about being trans.
Mm.
Uh, but then TikTok, I think like I saw all these people. I think that helped me come out a lot better, like and being myself because I saw everyone else being themselves. So I thought, oh, I'll have a go.
When I look at you and your content, I just see someone that's like, when I look at your Instagram, I see someone that's just like very comfortable in expressing who they are, and it doesn't have to fit a norm or a box. And I'm
Yeah,
seeing more and more people do that. And I think like it's funny that you mentioned Noel Fielding because I remember looking at Noel Fielding being like, oh, he's so like flamboyant in this really cool way, and I want to dress and look a little bit like that too. And it don't really have a gender.
yeah.
Interesting. So as a child growing up, what did that gender fluidity look like for you?
I was quite a girly girl actually, like
Mm.
uh, in like dresses, and I liked wearing heels because I liked the like clocky noise. Um, and then it got to my teen years, and obviously like puberty hit and that, and through being a kid, I were always the male in every game. And even like to a point where our friends were like loads of lads, and they thought I were a lad to begin with. And I didn't correct them. I just left them to it. Um, and I think it was year 7 when I started like I didn't know what it was, but I'd like made a joke saying, "Oh, my stepdad accidentally called me Danny," and then like because I knew that that'd get my friends to be like making a joke out of it and calling me Danny, and that got
Mm,
them calling me Danny rather than what I was.
mm.
Um, and then like it kind of clicked, and I thought I need to do a bit of research. Then I saw Noah Finns, and I watched a lot of his videos, and like and Miles McKenna, and I just kind of figured it out on my own a bit.
I've not heard Miles's name in ages. I used to watch all of his content. Um, like even when he was first started on YouTube. So I remember I saw that transition as it happened, and I was like, okay, fair enough. I think like social media has been really good for that access to just viewing and just being aware that like it sounds silly, but various types of people exist, you
Yeah,
know, because yeah, before social media, I suppose. Obviously, there is a lot of pushback on social media. It's not like it's this nice place where everyone can just be themselves. There is a lot of pushback, especially from certain groups of people we won't go into. But altogether, I think it has been kind of a net benefit and a net positive to see people just like, because like there are things that come into the public conversation now that we didn't have 15 years ago, you know?
yeah,
It's funny. I've never said this on my channel before, but when I was younger, I was well, the term we used back then was a tomboy.
yeah,
I was a big time tomboy. Um and like in a way I kind of did want to be a boy, but it wasn't out of some sort of gender based it wasn't like a sex based envy. It was a I didn't like how women were portrayed to be kind of like stereotypically weak and wimpy and
yeah,
stuff. And like for me, it was more of a rejection of that norm and ideal of like being super feminine and just weak and wimpy. And I wanted to be more like a boy. And then when I got to my teenage years, I started wearing makeup and I got more relaxed about being, you know, and now I'm quite relaxed in my own gender. But it's funny, isn't it?
yeah.
The
I'll probably the same. Like, I just wanted to reject everything that were classed as like weak and feminine as soon as I figured things out. And I don't know if that was just me thinking, right, I'm a lad and I don't want anything feminine, or if that were just I don't know. I've lost my words now.
well, I grew up around boys too, like boys still primarily are like most of my close mates. I've only got a few good friends who are girls. So that was like my experience growing up as well. And when you are hanging out with boys and like doing things with them, like playing rugby and typically, stereotypically more masculine based things, as a girl, I would get people being like, "Oh, but that's not for you." Because you're a girl. So for me, it was more of like weirdly, even though I wouldn't have known this at the time, weirdly, it's a feminist standpoint for me because it's like, no, I am equal to boys. Let me play rugby with them.
Yeah, like them saying no, you're not allowed to do it, just made you wanted to do it more, didn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's just funny to look back, and also I think like for me, my dad was a big influence in that too. Because I've just got a sister. We never had like any brothers or whatever, and I'm not saying he did this on purpose, but my dad would take me to do, I guess, more like traditionally masculine related activities, whatever.
Yeah,
Like I used to go. Well, I guess there's no gender involved in this, but like I used to go hang gliding, and I noticed it was mainly males who would like hang glide stuff. I used to hang glide when I was 5 years old, which is crazy. I would not do that now. That's like what you're attached to a kite and you're in the air. That's horrible. That's horrifying.
were it fun? Well, if you remember it.
Yes, actually, because like I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I felt that my parents knew everything. Like I thought that my mum knew everything, like the meaning of life, whatever. And I always felt very safe around my father. So there was never any like idea of danger. Whereas now I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, we're thousands of like feet up in the air, just like floating around in the wind. But it was good fun though. I never minded it. But funnily enough, I hate flying. I've got a fear, like a phobia of getting in planes. Weird.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, that's all we have time for today. Dylan, thank you so much for coming onto my show. People can find you on TikTok and Instagram. What's your TikTok user? Is it Daftdi or is it Dylan Marcus?
It's Evil Bender now. We dot him.
It's so random.
Yeah, if you just search Daftdi like on TikTok, then it should come up as just my name.
Okay, fantastic. And everyone else, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you follow us on Spotify and iTunes. Give me 5-star on Spotify, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.